would say the ultimate advertising, marketing, creativity festival. And it's where they hold the Cannes Film Festival. And Cannes Lions
Mhm.
is the creativity for advertising. The whole the industry takes over this beautiful um, seaside town,
Yeah.
and the streets are
Yeah,
packed. The
sure.
restaurants are packed. I'm at a villa up in the hills, off the Cosette, off the beach, as the sun's setting. It's
I can
absolutely
see.
beautiful. And it's there's an energy here of like people from all over the world have submitted work, and what they're creative, the creative industry, the strategy, their clients and brands and platforms and media partners. A lot of AI, a lot of talk about AI, a lot of talk about data. There's this ongoing like sort of a battle between creativity, which is the origins, and data and
Yeah.
technology taking over. Um, so it's interesting, but I shared a trend here this week. I was on a panel sharing trends about creativity and this kind of pregnant pause and creativity and this like slow, quiet movement of things going underground and in back rooms and bars and
Yeah.
basements and in luxury brands like
Yeah.
analog is the new luxury. And so this
Mm-hmm.
place where I'm at right now is this villa created almost like a creative salon where it's off the beaten path and it's a celebration of creativity and sharing ideas. And there's someone singing downstairs. There are people here like I'll show you poolside. I'll
Love
be
Oh
that.
surprised if
wow, that's
people aren't
beautiful.
inside. Yeah, it's absolutely
Beautiful.
stunning. There's the
Yeah.
Mediterranean behind us. So it's not terrible. It's
Is
not
it the same
terrible.
Collins house?
It is. It's the same Collins House.
Is
This is
it the
their
same
third year.
Collins house?
Yes, this is their third year.
Love that.
And it's
Yeah,
just
lovely.
growing. Like now there's a line that goes around the block. And so it's like a guest list. So it's I think the problem is they're the best branding company probably in the world. And they've built a great brand. And now people want to like check it out.
That's great.
That's
That's
great.
great. Good to know. All right. Now, would love to hear about just, creative. Like, tell us what are your creative highlights from the week? What has happened? I mean, obviously, like you said, the show is divided into data and creative. So maybe, here, we love data, but we also tend to be very creatively inclined. So we would love for our audiences to learn from, like what were some of the hits that you saw and what were some of the misses?
Yeah, there's a lot of there are a lot of conversations that happen. Like they're like all along in the Palais where the actual festival happens. And there's I heard an interesting data point this week of there are 50,000 people here in Cannes for the festival. Only 20,000 have passes to go into the Palais and experience the work and the talks that happen there.
Yeah.
So there's a massive influx of creator community and sports brands and
Yeah.
personas here,
Yeah.
and like really like and activations by different brands. So
Yeah.
even being here, you get to experience people kind of showing off their capabilities. Like Meta has Meta Beach, right? And
Oh, I
that's
got the medical.
right, and that's an experience. But it's interesting because I found it to be like have a lot of friction in the experience. It felt like they were data mining me at every touch point.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like,
I
oh,
mean,
Yeah.
that's what they do, right? Like, I mean, that's Meta's, bread and butter. Like, I just got these Meta glasses, and that's the first thing that they say is, do you sign your entire life to us, and do we get, everything that's happening in
I
your life?
want
I'm like, sure,
and I want
as long as you
every
give me
Yeah.
control to
picture.
make better content.
Yeah. So you kind of go, do I give it? Do I really want a Lay's pairing with it? What kind of rosé or Chablis it should be with to give all my data? I
Yeah.
don't know. But what was
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting, they tapped into another trend that I was sharing is they had a floral arrangement activation. So they had fresh flowers everywhere, and rooms full of it. You can go in and like just physically make and create, which is like some of the things that we see craft and crafting making a comeback, which is
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
interesting in the like live experiences. So you can see them tapping into that, a brand like Reddit was here. I hadn't seen them here before, and they built a delicatessen for people to come in and like get coffees and hot dogs and like
That's
make it
cool.
like that. Yeah, I know a friend of mine, Kindred, did that. So like there was some. I heard Google House. I haven't been able to get up to Google House, but I heard Google House was a
Yeah.
very cool activation and very experiential. Um,
Yeah.
you know, Pinterest still has their Pinterest. What is it called? The manifest. What do they call it? The
Oh, the
manifestival.
manifestation station something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So they're giving out tattoos. You know, you go get wait in line and get a tattoo.
yeah,
You go like put beads together, like trying to bring like hobbies
I,
and experiences together. So there's that
yeah,
as experience, like tactic experience there. But then there's a lot of logos everywhere.
yeah.
Like I was talking to people that like are looking for their favorite cafe, and now it's I Heart Cafe and Vader X Cafe. Like a lot of places right there around the vicinity of the Palais are very branded. It's kind of
Yeah.
shameless. And the signage is like it's almost like getting like a Tokyo or a Times Square experience. Adobe took over
yeah.
this hotel. Adobe
Yeah.
has an activation with there's an entrance to it for a Disney Imagineering entrance.
Oh
So I'd be
wow.
curious to see what they're going to do with like that those kind of partnerships. And I know I was talking to my friend Resh, who just took over as the head of creative at Adobe, and she used to be at Snap,
Oh, she's
and
great.
now
Shout out to Resh.
Resh is fantastic. She's so
Yeah.
lovely. So I'm excited to see what she's going to do because she's very tech savvy and very like ready to push the envelope, but they could use the refresh. So things like that are interesting to watch. Um, and
Yeah.
there was also something which was, for me was really interesting. There's a wellness lounge, and it's not like it's different than like Female Quotient, which is a space for women, which started very small back in the day
Yeah.
at like CES for a safe place for women in these in like very male
Yep.
dominated environments. Now
Yep.
they have FQ Beach.
I saw.
So
I
they,
Yeah.
saw.
they
It
Yeah.
have
was just
they had
It's
Oprah
amazing.
at the
growing. I mean,
beach. They
FQ
had
is
yeah, it's
growing
Yeah.
really
every
growing.
year.
FQ is
And they built a
growing. I
kids
love that.
camp. Yeah, yeah. So that's good. And
Yeah.
but so what I was saying about this wellness lounge is they're bringing in creators and influencers in the wellness space. You
Hmm.
know, the Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty's and Debbie Brown, who I used to follow her on the Chopra app as from a meditation. She hosted it, and I was talking to the founder today, and he was saying, like, because I was talking to him about the art of the pause and the potential to collaborate in that kind of a wellness space in this environment as the learning keeps coming in about creativity as the fifth pillar of wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was saying a lot, it's very CEO and CMO level. And a lot of them are just talking about burnout. A lot of them are talking about like they're even it's whether it's the active the idea of being here and like still
Yeah.
having to work and not being able to be present to fill their cups up, or just the general
That's
demands of the
amazing.
industry moving so fast. So really interesting conversations.
So
So tell
anything
us.
you
I mean,
have been
this.
able
Oh,
to
great.
do, anything you have been able to do in the chaos of the can where it's a sensory overload. I know, like walking, a lot of walking, a lot of parties, a lot of
Yeah.
beaches,
How
a
are
lot
you
of
doing your art
dogs.
of
How
pause?
are you doing your, yeah? Anything you have
Yeah,
been
I
able
mean,
to practice?
I did, I spoke on 3 panels and I've done 2 roundtables. And I try to really keep space open in my calendar, other than that, for what I call synchro destiny. Like
Mm-hmm.
the chance happenings of people you see, like last year, 2 years ago, I was with a friend and she said, "Who would you really want to see at Cannes that you haven't seen yet?" And I'm like, "Deepak Chopra. I meditate with him every day." And I walked out of the building and I walked into it.
I remember we were there
I
together that
remember
year.
we were there then.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
know.
And so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so I've had some really interesting conversations with people who reached out for like, can we get a coffee? I was talking to a professional basketball player and Olympic soccer player, these women in sports today, about brand and AI and how they're growing their businesses as both creators and personalities and building talent agencies. So
Hmm.
it's a very interesting economy.
That's
Yeah.
But like
great.
I am
I
seeing
That's
an
great.
I haven't
interesting
been in the.
shift.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, like, you were talking about the creators this year. Like, I'm seeing an interesting shift from like 2024 when Karan and I were there, and we started being like creators at that point and doing live and about what's going on in Can
Oh yeah, we
Line.
were
But
one of the very first
versus
ones.
but versus doing that for the first time and being one of the few doing at that time, a lot of those creators were going to the Cannes Film Festival. Versus now, the shift has come to the Cannes Lion Festival. How is the advertising industry taking that? Like, what's the
Yeah,
talk
because there's
around now?
always like, I feel like traditional agency houses have this like not like this silent animosity, right? Where they see them as competition. Like, how are they? Like, how's that tension?
Um, I think there's a lot of tension. I think there's more tension in the AI space and creativity and the way the business is thinking about it for
Mhm.
automation. I think there are those people that are like, oh, the way it used to be, and then um, understanding like brands are putting half their production budgets and media budgets into creators.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's that desire to hold on to things, but I think I feel a lot more tension in the AI space for creative than in the creator space. I still think they're a little bit in denial. It's like, oh, they're over here. I was listening to Stephen Galloway was doing a live thing from a boat, and he's like, the
Mm-hmm.
number of creators are doubled from last year.
100%. I'm sure.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, see, I've been coming to Cannes like since 2011. Like I was a young lion back then, and it was just like the what Can is now, it's so different. Like it has become more of a serious player in in culture of marketing and culture of business, right? Back then it was a great creative playground, right? So I think that's why I feel like a lot of creators come is because they get visibility in front of other brands, right? Because a lot of creators depend on brands to sponsor them, right? Like to help build
Totally.
their businesses. So I feel like that natural thing happened, right? And I mean, I feel like for our industry, it's a real wake up call to go like, hey, embrace or die. You know what I mean?
A
Which
hundred
is,
percent. Oh,
yeah,
but all
100%.
of it, right?
Yeah.
Evolve or die. Have a
yeah,
beginner's. We've been having a lot of conversations about like creativity and curiosity, and like have a beginner's mindset. It's like be
oh
excited to
yeah.
learn
Have a
all the
learner's
time.
mindset. Whoop whoop. Learning lounge
Yeah.
plug.
Learning
Having a
lunch.
learner's mindset. It's like I'm so open. It's like wow, I didn't know that. And but it's interesting. I walked through. I took some time out today, and
Yeah.
it was 94 degrees. So it's
Whoa.
really hot. It's the
Oh,
hottest
so
it's ever
you're
been.
Wow.
you're basically you're basically like in the valley right now. Just like
It's
me. I'm sweating.
unnaturally hot here. And
Yeah.
one of my passion pillars is sustainability and regeneration in the planet. And it's like
Yeah,
it shouldn't be this hot in the country right
yeah.
now.
All
Yeah.
right.
But
So we
I
want to
went in.
know. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
No, you go ahead.
No, I want to know, you spoke Monday in the Palais about the art of pause. One, for our audiences tuned in today who might have not seen the episode yet, you all should go watch the episode. But to give you a little trailer, Gene, could you tell us a little bit about the art of pause, a TLDR pitch, and then how did your
Yeah,
conversation go?
I can. Yeah. So the way I describe the art of the pause is it's a creative wellness platform built from the ashes of the burnout epidemic that we're facing. And
Yeah,
we're living it with the World Health Organization has declared burnout a workplace phenomenon, and the
yeah,
current reported rate is for this last year 66% of workers reported being burned out. For me, it's very personal because when I left Walmart, I don't know how many years now, I I was really like I didn't realize how tired I was. And my dad died, my dog died, my divorce was final, and I like was decide. I made a very radical decision to pause and not go back to work right away and look for work right away. And that time that I took was very healing. Like it was about mental, physical, and spiritual health. And taking that time really gave me this idea of the art of the pause. Like it came to me on a beach walk that to be at being a creative person and being passionate about creativity, we can't be creative when we're afraid and when we're burnt out and we're afraid. And there's a lot of fear in the industry right now. So how do we take time and space or create time and space
Mhm.
to be more creative and innovative.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Great. So for people listening in their offices and home right now, give us like what are three things they can do right now to actually take a pause?
Yeah, I mean, people ask me about the pause in the sense of like, is it, I take a radical sabbatical, and not everybody has that privilege, right? I've worked a really long time, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I have a privilege that I'm able to like take that break and have the financial stability to do that. But
Right.
the pause isn't necessarily a month or 3 months or 6 months. I think it's the pause that we take to breathe on a daily basis instead of
Yeah.
like because we hold our breath a lot, literally and figuratively, and and think before we act and react. I think there's a huge need to be proactive in our choices of what we say yes and no to, what we like. We tend to say yes and like we got to move fast, and not everything. It's a the culture's there's a toxic productivity. It's toxic urgency, and we've become like lean into toxic resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think of it now as like ideally daily practices to practice the pause to like, really like
Yeah.
think about how you have the mental and physical, spiritual, creative space to be your best self. So whether
Yeah.
that's, doing morning pages before you get on your phone or before you jump into your email and do whatever, like writing in a very analog way for 15 minutes to get your thoughts out and get your to-do list out and like clearing your mind for the day to create flow. Or is it a daily morning practice? Is it getting sunlight? Is it taking a walk before
Yeah.
you like again like I think if you sit behind your desk all day like a lot of us do, and the work ideas don't come that way. We need to create space for them to come. We need to create a little bit of boredom, a little bit of blue sky. And I think also a practice to go to bed. Like instead of going to bed with scrolling on your phone, like putting your phone in another room and practicing an attitude of gratitude. Like closing your eyes and listing three things that you're grateful for that day. Because anxiety, we're anxious about all the things we have to do, and gratitude can't live together in your brain at the same time.
Yeah. That's
Like
Yeah.
great.
really working with like really kind of training your mind not to go to all those scary
Yeah.
places.
That's great. And I think for those who are listening out there, this is not just about taking pause. This is taking pause to actually perform better. This is really
Absolutely.
about, for you to be a high performer. So I think that's a great lesson. How did the talk go, Gene? Would love to hear.
So the talk that I was invited to a panel. It was kind of exciting because it's a group called what's it called? Ah Friends, Forever Friends, First Friends, Friends, Friends. So I'm sorry, we could drop in the link. But it's an international team
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
of strategists and futurists
Yeah.
invited to do this 3-3-3 formula of 3 slides, 3 signals or trends that you
That's amazing.
personally
Yeah.
are like that you're in your work or in your like almost like thesis or like how you apply it
Yeah.
and share it out to this audience. So it's kind of a tag team thing. And
That's
so
great.
I recorded it, so I'll share it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way I shaped it with the art of the pause was the first trend was this trend we call FOF, or I call FOF, which is fear of the
I
future.
know.
So we're in this panic state of what's next, and AI is coming for our jobs, and agencies are merging, and massive layoffs, and we're all afraid. And actually, like kids are afraid to grow up. Like there are the studies that
Oh
like
wow.
showing girls are afraid to grow up because it's too scary. And
Wow.
so it's like this canary in the coal mine, and we're living in really fucked up times. So, but the thing is, it's like that's the scary part. The good part is I talked about the pregnant pause and the idea that a pause isn't just empty and doing nothing. It's creating space for full of potential and like a gestation for things to grow. And I talk
I
a lot
love it.
about regenerative creativity
I
and
love how
this
you
idea.
explained the pregnant pause.
Pregnant pause is great.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
interesting. So it's
It
full
is.
of expectation
I
and
could connect.
growth and letting things like going into the soil where it's more fertile, going underground, like as we
Right.
let fields lie fallow and then have exponential growth after.
Yeah.
And we're
It's
seeing
because
those trends.
and only a mother could really feel that and understand that, because it's not just a rebirth. It's not just a birth of a newborn, but of a baby, but it's also a rebirth of a woman after that pregnant pause, with a lot of new evolvement and maturity at that point.
Everything changes, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah. So that was an interesting one. And then coming out of this idea of the pregnant pause is, and I kind of did the last one. I cheated a little bit. It was 3 for 1 because I like the alliteration of it. But it's regeneration, renaissance, and rehumanization. Like there's this trend to return to human, and
Yeah.
because I think because of all the tech and all the AI and
Yeah.
all the digital and all the, like, we've never been more technologically advanced, more digitally connected, and more burnt out.
I
So
have a
people are
question.
craving human
Yeah.
connection and crafting and making and haptic experiences. And it is I am feeling this creative renaissance.
I love it. I love that I'm alive to live in this creative renaissance. I mean, it is
I
Exactly.
definitely.
know. It
Yeah.
is. It is. It is a changing time for sure. Jean, I'm curious, like from 2024 to 2026, I know there was a lot of AI talk back then as well when we three were there after a very, very long time. And today, again, then when you're here and there's a lot of talk about AI, what has changed? What has shifted? Like, our.
I'll tell you, like I did another panel on called the Yacht Talk, and it was on inelastic brands and in elastic times, which is a kind of a whatever topic. But it was, I was we were leaning into. I was the creative on the panel,
Mm-hmm.
and the moderator was talking about he did a study, a survey, and 2, 3, 4 years ago, 2 years ago maybe, CMOs were asked if uh, AI could do creative campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say the 44% of CMOs said, yeah, they could. This year, 66% they could.
Oh,
And
So
wow.
so,
it
of
has
course,
been shifting. Yeah.
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 so I think
That's
there's,
what I
I
was
think
curious.
I think we've seen the exponential growth and ability for AI to do better, faster. Like it's not as weird as it used to be, and the output isn't as weird, at least from a visual artifact type thing. But
Mhm.
that is a really scary, it's almost a scary data point as the fact that like 56% of Girl Scouts don't want to grow up because they're afraid. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like this counterpoint. And my point was like, what we have to be really careful about is we still need the creativity and human ingenuity and the ability to wonder and wander to feed the AI. And I love the ability that AI can do things faster, can do things that I don't know how to do. And as I'm a solopreneur, it can help me almost be a full team.
Yeah.
But I'm still the creative catalyst of the
Oh, yeah.
ideas, and
For sure.
they're a collaborator. And it's not, so I think we have to be really cautious of leaders who think they can just set it and forget it.
Yeah, no, I
True.
think that's great and that's true. I mean, one thing I will tell you is also just, I mean, obviously, one is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there are all these people who were like, shitting on AI on LinkedIn. And now those some same people have now turned around and now they're just like, this is whatever. Right. But I also feel is like, as a creative, it actually helps me, be a lot of things that I'm not,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I think it's essentially like filling in the gaps and
It
not necessarily
increases the
doing the creative
productivity.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
increases
Yeah.
the productivity exponentially to what we could do in a day versus what we can do like
Yeah.
in 1 hour,
Yeah.
you
But
I
know?
I
mean, I
also,
have
yeah,
26
totally. I
agents
also,
running while I sleep and do the work on my behalf while I sleep. You know what I mean?
well, here's it. I was reading a study in the Harvard Business Review about that. And this is one of the things I brought up on the panel about AI, creativity, and burnout as it
Yeah.
connects to my work. And the rate of burnout for high AI adapters is 88%
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That
versus like,
happened with
so
me
that's it,
2 weeks
we're
ago.
talking, right. So that's a big delta, right? Because it's like, first of all, you're an alpha user and you're optimistic and curious, and you're an achiever, and so you want to try everything. And then this
Right.
study was like 20 days in. This professor was like, "I'm exhausted. It's amazing, but like I'm exhausted." And
Yeah.
my point was, what happens when your creative collaborator, your thought partner,
Right.
um, doesn't have to sleep, eat, poop, walk, take the kids to school, like they go all night, and so you have to. And we're already taught have that toxic resilience, but as a trauma response. So
Yeah.
we have to be
Mm-hmm.
even more careful as leaders
Right.
and as makers that like we're putting boundaries. Going like I'll tell Claude, I'm like, Claude is like, you want to write this chapter tonight, and I'm like, no, I want to. You want to like helping me like with whatever an article, and you want to review what you've done or change it, and I'm like, not tonight. I'm going to bed. And what I like about Claude is because it comes from such a humanities perspective. Claude goes, oh, you're right. You get some rest, and we'll come back to tomorrow whenever you feel like you're good about it. Because they are trained to like I've got all these like
Oh
need to
yeah.
fill those
If you
God
were
spreadsheets.
bless
if you were
Claude.
on ChatGPT, that would have said, "Okay, great, but here's a night, sleeping pill that you should take." Right? Remember the ad campaigns? I'm sure
I
that's gonna
do.
win the Grand Prix this year.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
But being here, I will say, like going through the work was phenomenal. There's a lot of great work, and there's a lot of like my
I was
origins
about to
are in
ask. Yeah.
like design, right? And so I
Yeah.
like start there in the design and the out of home space. And there are
Yeah.
so many beautifully, really simple, thoughtful, interesting executions that are kind of abstract. Like you have to look and like out of focus. Where's the branding? Like Tim Horton had this campaign. Like it's snow and but like I could not see a logo on it. I'm like, oh, British Airways had a campaign that was like a reflect. Like there's so many people take selfies out their
Yeah.
window of a plane, and it was just wind shots out the window, but you could just see a reflection, a part of the British Airways logo reflected on
Yeah.
the jets,
Yeah.
and it's like
Mhm.
super deliciously subtle, and it's like and
Yeah.
there were a lot of things that tapped into culture, and I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the work is really tapping into how consumers interact with various media platforms and
Yeah.
pulling them into the conversation to help, which is kind of cool. um yeah, it was I and I I I was there, and we have Karan and I worked with a team at Disney, our young junior creatives that were like the poster team for thinking outside the box. Jose and Jeff, they're at
Oh
Cut
yeah.
now,
Shout
and
out
every
to
time they win
Jose
it,
and Jeff, the
you
best
shout out
people out
every time.
there.
They're amazing,
Every
and they
time.
they they love they love this business, and they love ideas, and they won a gold lion with their teams, and every time they win a gold lion, they call me. And it's like, so like being able to be there and go down to like meet us at the Martinez. And there wasn't as much crying this year, but it was, I don't think everybody was as wasted. But it's like the pride and joy and celebration of like the achievement. And I don't think it's all about the awards, but it's like, how did we get here? How do we grow talent? How do we get excited about, it's that servant leadership aspect of like, we're successful when we grow
Yeah.
like successful leaders, right? So
Yeah.
that was probably my highlight is like,
That's
getting to
great.
hug them. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So
That's
that
great.
that was our last question, which is what can people take away from this? So people can take away that go, nurture the next generation of talent, for them to go and
Absolutely.
really spread their wings.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I'll add one more thing in the sense of I, when you're like, when I was agency side and brand side, like I was waiting to be chosen to come to Cannes. Like, yeah, I judge. And so that's the work I really dove into today. Glass Lions was like my favorite thing that I judged because it's very purpose driven work to change culture. But it's like you want to be selected or you win an award and you come down or you're going to represent or like being senior enough. And since I left, I've been to Cannes probably more like I've been the last 3 years consecutively on my own because I want to fill my own cup. I want
Yeah.
to keep learning and be curious. And it's not cheap, but I
Yeah.
think you can do it in like there's lots of like group shares and different things. But to come and like experience it is worthwhile. I did mentoring this morning with the See It Be It cohort, which is through CAN, and it's the initiative for future female creative leaders. And that is just like these women who have worked really hard. They're really early on in their careers, but they're superstars, and so many of them, they have imposter syndrome. Why am I here? Am I good enough? Have I made enough progress? Or what? And like if I could go back in time and to my earlier self, it's like you are so enough. Like you're just to
Yeah.
be in the conversation and the work and it's a privilege, right? And it's a
Yeah.
joy, and like it's so great. And like there's so much that so many demons that we have to battle, but like if you love it, believe in yourself, and just keep pushing and
Yeah.
pausing and pushing and pausing, and like make sure you step away from the work just because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a great note to end on. Gene, thank you very much for coming on our live stream. Thank you very much for, gracing us with your presence. For people out in Cannes watching this, go find Jean, and talk to her, learn from her, post selfies with her. For
Mhm.
people watching this virtually, go on artofthepause.org and check out Jean's new initiative. It is really built for the leaders of tomorrow. And everybody else, thank you for signing in. We hope to bring you a lot of great conversations like this, so that you can learn, from our dear mentors and guests, who come on the show. Wholeheartedly. Thank you very much. Shout out to Jeff and Jose for the Gold Lion. Shout out to Daniel Barak,
Amazing.
who is in Cannes.
Daniel, I saw him
Uh,
today. Yep.
I know, I know.
And shout out to all the winners, gold,
To
silver,
all the winners.
bronze,
Yeah,
Yep.
all the short lists. I mean, all the people who got work in the show. I mean, amazing.
yeah,
Shout out to
yeah.
Amazing.
all the exciting creativity.
That's great.
That's
All right,
amazing.
great.
That's
Gene, take
amazing.
care.
And
Cheers.
Yeah,
Chin
cheers,
chin.
cheers, cheers. Love you. Take care and
cheers.
Love you
fly
too.
safe.
Bye.